What's going on? Welcome back. Ryan here. In this video, we are talking about managing emotions. Now, again, all of the stuff in this trading psychology section is really, really important. And managing your emotions is one of the most important things you need to be aware of. Remember, the trading psychology market cycle and these markets being based on fear and greed, and really that's what people fall victim to, right? Is not being able to manage your emotions. And I'll be the first to admit that I've made these mistakes, right? I'm a very emotional person. I'll be the first to admit that, which is why I have rules for myself in place so that I don't fall victim to situations that can arise from trading when you shouldn't be trading, right? I'll give you an example of this. You should not be trading if you're drinking alcohol or doing drugs of any type. I'm not going to judge anybody, right? I don't know your scenario, but when it comes to trading and managing finances, you cannot be trading when you're drinking or under the influence, because emotionally you're just so much more susceptible to making mistakes. This is a huge one, right? Because you could be out drinking with friends or whatnot, and maybe you come back and you want to trade the futures. You're all confident, right? The market's open 24 hours, some of the assets, and I can promise you that if you fall victim to this, you can blow an account up so quick. You can lose more money than you have. And it all stems from not having the discipline to say, hey, no, I'm not in the right state of mind. I'm not in the right emotional state. And having the discipline to realize that and not fall victim to that. Right. Another scenario could be where whatever's happening in your life, right? I mean, life is complex. There are situations that arise that are out of our control. And again, right, if you've maybe had a fight with someone or you're having a challenging day where there's a lot of things happening where you're emotionally riled up, it's just better not to trade. And if for whatever reason you are an emotional person no matter what, as a lot of us are, for me, the way that I have figured out to combat this, right? Because maybe I want to make a trade or whatever it may be. Again, remember, in managing risk and building wealth, there's multiple strategies that we're using, right? So for me, I don't like to take short-term trades or even swing trades when I'm emotional. But if I want to do something in the market, I'd much rather like buy a long-term asset where I'm okay, even in my emotional state, of buying these shares with the intent of holding them for a long time, right? I think that this can really be an advantage because, again, I don't know your experience. I've tried to make this master class to really appeal to a lot of different people and their backgrounds, right? Because again, trading options is complex. There's a lot of definitions. There's a lot of things that go into learning this craft. And again, managing our emotions is one of the most important things that we can do. And it's not just managing our emotion and being able to spot situations where we can be emotionally compromised, right? Drinking alcohol, doing drugs, trying to trade in that mindset, but also understanding that when things do not go our way, right, that we are going to have an emotional response, and to be aware and very present that when that happens, you do not fall victim to making more mistakes, compounding mistakes and bad decisions into huge losses. Again, right, managing our net liquidating value, right, being able to be disciplined consistently capturing profits, having lots of small winners, right? Occasional big winners. And then again, having small losses where we're disciplined to get rid of trades that aren't working. And for me, I've found that when things are not going my way in the market, the answer is never to become more emotional and try to force the trading. This is what defines great traders and great money managers from people who can never get past, themselves, right? Which is being able to know when is a good time to be in the market and when is a time to just sit back and relax, right? Because the market can become very volatile. It can move very quickly, right? Which can accelerate our losses and our gains. And again, when you're dealing with money, especially larger amounts of money, the emotional swings that we can have because of that becomes so great. That's why, when you look at the best money managers in the world, like for instance, Ray Dalio, he's as cool as a cucumber, man. He's waking up and he's meditating every day because when you're managing $150 billion, someone who doesn't have emotional control will never be able to look at the P&L statement on those accounts because the fluctuations are so large that the average person's emotional response to that, they might have a nervous breakdown, right? So as we get better at trading, as we display more emotional mastery, it becomes easier for us to make better decisions, right? Which then in turn help us grow faster and get to a place where nothing that happens in the market, whether we win or lose, is going to affect us or our emotional stability to make good decisions under pressure, right? Everything is about confidence, controlling ourselves, controlling our emotions so that we can make great decisions under pressure. Okay, so this is a huge one. No matter what field you're in, no matter what your background is, right? You want to be someone who is grounded, who is in control of our emotions so that we don't let our emotions control us, right? Quick example, when we think about the new Star Trek movie with Spock, right? Spock being half human and half Vulcan, right? There's a scene where his father tells him, you do not want your emotions to control you. But we as humans, emotions are a good thing. It's important for us to be aware of our emotions, to feel our emotions, to learn from our emotions, but then again, to be in control of them so that we do not go and make decisions that we shouldn't make. And furthermore with this, not only should we not be trading in emotionally compromised states of mind, but we should be very aware that when we are trading, when we enter the market, when we look at the trading psychology market cycle, right? We look at positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. We look at these things. We want to be aware of the way the market makes us feel when we're in a trade so that we understand the way the market is trying to manipulate us to make a decision, right? Because remember, in that market psychology, it's very easy to get sucked into FOMO, right? Where you're buying the top and then you're turning around and selling for a loss. And it's just not necessary, right? I think one of the most important things you can do, and why I talk about this from the beginning, is to paper trade. And to paper trade like it was actually your real money, right? Again, with paper trading, the limitations of paper trading is, the data is not always going to be the best. The fills are not always going to be the best. But if we can just pretend like it's actual real money and actually look at the way the market works and to be disciplined no matter what, this is what's going to produce massive results. Because remember, at the end of the day, options trading is about having all of these tools, understanding how they work, being educated, applying ourselves, but then when we have that, being like a Zen master, right? So calm, so disciplined, not affected by when things go our way, not affected when things don't go our way, constantly making high quality decisions. Okay, so this is huge. I can promise you that no matter how great you think you are, no matter how much confidence you have, if you become overconfident, if you fall back into bad habits and patterns where you're not constantly thinking about this, this can turn around to really bite you. Because remember, with trading, all it takes is one mistake and you can wipe away months and even years of profit, right? Which is why this is so important to be aware of this and to have the discipline to know when you should be trading and when you should be on the sidelines watching and preparing and looking for opportunities. Okay, so this is a big one. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel. Tell me about your emotions. Tell me, some of the experiences you've had. If you understand this, if you are aware of some of these things and the way you're feeling, when you're trading. I promise you, this is a huge one, and it constantly takes work. It's not, again, a one and done thing. It's like every day we need to be reflecting. Okay, so let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.